Up next on Iowa 411, we talk to an up-and-coming entrepreneur making great waves in the fitness space. Let's go. Welcome back to Iowa 411, the place where you get the 411 on all things Iowa. This afternoon, I have with me Mikal Blaise with Blaise Training.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited, man. You know, about to get the 411, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up. And I'm glad you're joining us today. And, you know, as I sat down with you, I thought you have a very unique story that not a lot of people know about. And it was a story that I kind of stumbled on through flea markets and different things that I was doing, but just have to say I have a lot of respect for what you're doing. And for all of our listeners and all of our watchers today, they're going to be able to hear your story as well too.
Yes,
so
thank you, man.
Let's get started and just talk about the business itself. So Blaise Training, where did the origin of that come from? So let's first talk about just the name itself. Where does the name come from?
Yeah. So my full name is Mikal Blaise Settle. And so Blaise is my middle name. So that's where I get the Blaise Training. And then Never Settle is, you know, just motivation, inspiration. And we'll talk more about that later. But really, like, I feel like Blaise was like my alter ego. You feel me?
Right.
And so it's like, because Mikal, everybody knows me as the chill, smiley, like, you know, charismatic person, which I am. But it's like, I have a lot of struggles. I feel like that added fuel to my fire.
There you go.
You feel what I'm saying? Which, you know, in turn, Blaise.
Okay.
You feel me? So, and I really started to embrace that as I got into later part of college, stopped playing football, was trying to figure out life. And that's why we mentioned B. Wells earlier. Shout out to my cousin. We both went to UNI. And so it's like going through my journey with football there, going through my journey with rugby. I feel like I started to kind of embrace like more of my middle name. You feel me? And so that's kind of like what the name is, you know?
Very nice. Okay. Now with that Never Settle piece, so how have you woven that into your brand? Because, you know, I hear you say that and it's just so fitting because it's your last name as well too. So how did you manage to blend that in the way that you did?
So after I got done with college, not done with college. After I got done with football, I was like, bro, I'm not making it to the league. It's over with, man. You feel me? And that's like a hard pill to swallow when you put so much time into something, but you don't end up reaching what it seems like the ultimate goal.
Facts.
And, you know, and I learned so much from those trials and tribulations and all those things I had to get to just even get on the team. And then just going through so much, you know, I didn't realize, like at the time I was super depressed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so glad I went through all of that because it led me to the person I am now. And then also embracing those things, but then also moving forward with so much passion and ambition to get to a goal. And so I say all that to say is, so as I'm trying to figure out the Never Settle thing, I was riding with my grandma, like the summertime of college or something like that, probably 2018 or something like that, 2019 actually. We chilling, she vibing, she sipping something, you know, she feeling good, you know, so we just hanging out vibing. It's me, her, and my Uncle Corey. And so, you know, shout out to my nana, we just chilling and she's feeling good. And she's like, our last name Settle, but we never settle. And I was like, dang, grandma, like, yeah, that's real. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start using that. And one of the things that I learned, like as far as branding, is slogans and being able to, when somebody hears something, it gotta be simple, but then also provokes so much emotion.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. And so then when people hear Never Settle, they like, you know, you get it right away. You feel me? But then you learn, like, you know, my little pictures, you know, my middle name's Blaise, my last name's Settle. That's why I push Blaise Training, Never Settle. They be like, ooh, okay, I like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's memorable, and then it's also something that makes you really think. And then the book that I read that talked about provoking emotions when it comes to like marketing and different things was called Contagious. It's like an orange book.
Okay.
It's a fire book.
Contagious. So, okay.
Yeah, Contagious. By
have to make some note of that. To make note of that. So, so your business itself, what is it that you focus on? So let's, for the viewers and the listeners who don't know what Blaise Training is, what do you offer?
No, yeah. So as far as the brand, so that was one of the things I was transitioning through as well, is figuring out, what's my mission and what do I want to do?
Sure.
And so I started off with just doing workouts, trying to pursue personal training and different things like that. And so as time went, when I was doing training and I was in the gym, and I was just like, my passion is motivating people and doing products as well and doing clothing.
Right.
But I was like, I can't be in the gym all day, but want to do both. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on what I'm good at, focus on my lane. Because I promise you, since I was a kid, 2 or 3 years old, I've always been a forward thinker.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, you can ask anybody that know me since I was a kid. I've always been a forward thinker. I think because I had a big head as a kid, you know what I mean? I had a big head, so maybe that was part of it. But I've always been a forward thinker. But I was always a leader, and I was motivating.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was I was around a lot of stuff that could seem as, not seem as, but is a trap for young black men, especially in Iowa. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So there's so many systematic things that I had to face. I can see it as a systematic thing now that I'm at the point I'm at now, but there's so much that I had to face to even get to the point that I'm at now. But I didn't truly understand until I'm at this perspective now, sure. With a bird's eyes view. But I've always been a forward thinker. And so when I was navigating through life, people around me smoking, I was introduced to drugs when I was real young, 6th grade, people drinking, people selling drugs around you. So it's like, but I always told myself, like, okay, everybody doing this, doing that. I promise you, my cousins would tell you, like, Mike, he always thought ahead. Like, if he didn't want to do nothing, he ain't do it. You feel me? So that's where I started to embrace more of who I was and then kind of find myself.
Very nice.
Within the brand. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on the motivational aspect, the merchandise, pushing motivation through the merchandise, providing high quality products, whether it's hats, shirts, socks, pretty much flare leggings, shorts, all those been going crazy recently.
Very nice.
As far as that, sports bras, all those type of things. But I'm using those as the vehicle to push motivation, inspiration for people to keep going in their own journey. And that's why I did the me versus me.
Very good.
You feel me?
Very good.
Long story short, that's kind of why I moved into the, figuring out what I wanted to do and embracing who I am. And then I figured out the lane of what I truly want to focus on with the business.
Sure. Good. And is there a specific demographic, or is your product for any and all?
No, bro, that's the thing. What's crazy is, it starts with the people that's around you and your family and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's like, people kind of bought the brand just based on knowing me from high school, college, and stuff like that. And I got my first shirts made, and I made like 15 shirts. And so one of my high school friends, white dude, shout out to Jack Harvey, he was like, hey, yo. He was like, he seen me at the mall. He seen me with a box of shirts. He was like, that's your shirts? Like, because I was already pushing the brand. So this was like probably 2 years into it. I was like, yeah, man, I got 15 made. I just got black and white. He's like, cool, let me grab one. Boom. Hit up my bro, JC, shout out to him. Black dude, you know what I'm saying? He from Des Moines as well. He pulled up, boom, got some. Another dude, I think it was Omar. He was like the 4th customer I had. He bought some. Jalen Jones, like Omar, he's Hispanic. Oh, Jalen Jones, he's black. You know what I'm saying? So it's like so much different people just started, you know what I'm saying? All the different demographics. Like I didn't really understand it because I was like, okay, I'm just trying to get these shirts out. I'm trying to push them. But as I started to build my brand and move things forward, I started to see now when you go around Des Moines, just different places, it's 65-year-olds. Oh, I love the me versus me shirt. I think my son will love this, or my grandson, or boom, boom, boom. Like, so it just spreads everywhere.
Very nice.
And so it's like when I'm doing events and pushing everything, I got people telling me so many stories about, something they see me doing on Facebook, Instagram, just telling my story or just seeing where I came from.
Sure.
They're just inspired. And that's why I'm like, inspiration is one of the highest frequencies. So it's like it really relates to everybody, kind of depending on where they're at in their life, especially if you need that extra boost to, it starts as a fitness brand, but it's really a mental health motivational thing. So
absolutely,
you're gonna see everybody in it.
I love it. I love it. And especially the mental health part of it, especially with the stigma around that these days. I'm in the healthcare space myself, and so I understand that. But for our listeners and viewers, this is just a little glimpse of some of the products that are available from Blaise Training. Like you said, socks, leggings, all of those different things as well. And now let's get into your first production of these. And I just remember when we sat down, you had mentioned the bathroom being the office. Let's talk about when you first, made that jump into t-shirts and, making that executive office.
Man, you got to do what you got to do, So when I graduated college in spring 2020, my birthday is March 13th, actually. So soon as I came back for spring break, they hit us with an email like, hey, yo, y'all ain't coming back for 3-4 weeks. And then they hit us up again. Hey, y'all stuck. You know what I mean? So I was like, dang, my whole plan was because I did an internship in the Middle East for like 4 months in Bahrain, working with youth on a military base. So that was going to be my plan. I was going to go back there and live there for 2-3 years. And after college, that was my whole plan. But they shut everything down. Nobody was traveling. So I was kind of locked in on figuring out more myself. I didn't realize it at the time, but I really needed it because I was lost in college, partying, hanging out. You know what I'm saying? I was like, my goal was like, I'm about to go out with a bang. I'm about to be turned up at the end of the semester. But then I realized, I was like, dang, I didn't realize I was leading myself down a negative path. But when you're masking yourself and drinking, hanging out all night and doing those different things, you don't realize because you lost in the sauce and you at that lower frequency. You know what I mean? But as I got to have some solitude, I went back home. I'm the oldest of 6. I have 6 siblings and I'm the oldest. You feel me? And so at the time I had 6 siblings at my mom's crib. Well, I mean, it was me, my 5 other siblings at my mom's crib. And so I started to realize, I'm like, bro, I got to be a leader. You feel what I'm saying? But I understand I'm going to have a lot of solitude. So I know a lot of people's going to be depressed, chilling, not doing much. So I got to make sure I turn this negative into a positive. You feel me? And so I started to read more. I started to focus on building my brand more. And so I used that COVID money, them stimulus checks. I invested that in my business. You feel me? So I went and bought a logo. I went and got my stuff trademarked. I registered my business, all that type of stuff. And I was like, man, I'm going to start hitting these shirts out there and getting to it. And so the first thing I did is I went to the mall and had them use a vinyl cutter to print out my shirts. And that's why I was telling you where I got the first 15 shirts, got to it. But one of the things I started to tell myself, I was like, bro, there's no way I can't do this myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying this dude this much to make my shirts. I ain't going to make no money on these shirts. So I had to start telling myself. So I was asking him questions like, hey, man, what's this machine cost? What machine? Let me buy the machine from you. He was like, nah, man, it's a little hard, man. Like, he was trying to discourage me. You feel me? And so then leading forward, I eventually got the same machine, got my computer. I started, you know what I'm saying? And then when I got the machine in the mail, I went up straight to my mom's, the upstairs in my mom's crib in the bathroom, because there's only a 2-3 bedroom. There's 6-7 of us in the crib. I don't got no room. You feel me?
Right.
Especially coming back from college. But I was like, you know what? I'm about to set this machine up, set it up in the bathroom, got it going, was cutting stuff, peeling everything. I didn't figure it out right away. But once I did figure it out, it was over with. But that was like my first office, you feel me? And looking back, I had like the biggest smile on my face. And, and I'm just like, in the moment, it looked crazy. I got tissue paper, little tissue rolls of tissue, soap on the side. You know what I'm saying? Somebody from the outside looking in be like, dang, man, this dude's tripping. Like, he in his mom's bathroom. Like, he ain't ever gonna make it out. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta make sure you embrace that and tell the story, because you never know. It might take you 10 years, because that was 6 years ago when I first started printing shirts. But now ain't nobody getting busy out here like me with the brand. You feel me? So it's just like, you got to embrace that.
There you go. I love to hear it. And I love to hear the inspiration behind it. I remember growing up with multiple siblings in one bathroom, right? We all shared a bathroom. We didn't even have a shower back in the day. We all had to take baths. So we kind of got used to doing that as well too. So,
funny, man.
So you're a local cat. Roosevelt by way of Texas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So did you know way back that this was going to be the path that you were going to take?
You know what's crazy, man, is like I remember I had a job at Target, and I used to remember how the managers used to talk to me. I used to tell my bro Malik, I'm like, man, we gonna be rich, bro. Like, we can't be letting them talk to us like this, bro. That's why we need to work for ourselves. Like I used to tell them, we used to talk like that all the time back then, but I didn't really realize it would manifest into entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? I always thought about it. It'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to have my own. Really, I wanted to have my own suit line because I was in this program called Brother to Brother growing up.
Okay.
And so
I remember that.
Yeah. So we used to, that was like my first introduction in learning how to tie ties, how to properly eat at a table, like learning like etiquette at a different level. So we used to travel, go to different college tours and different things like that. So when I would come back into my neighborhood, I'll still be dressed with a tie. You know what I'm saying? They be looking at me crazy like, man, this dude Mike, man, like, what's going on? Like, they just be like, oh, he a nerd, man. He this and that, he this and that. But I'm like, hey, man, I like dressing up, And so I started to embrace it, because I had the leader mindset. So I really always wanted to have suits. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Now, eventually I will, but that was kind of like the start of it in my mind kind of manifesting. Fast forward, after I got done with playing football and different things like that, I had a full-time job at a printing company. And my job was to go to all the source shops to learn, not to learn, but to pick everything up. So I would go to, I'll go to embroidery shops, screen print shops. I used to make like leather jackets, so I would go and absorb all this information. I didn't know, I feel like it was a calling from God to let me know, like, hey, this is what you're going to be doing to kind of like program my subconscious, so to speak. Yeah. So I was going to all these places every day, not even knowing like, bro, this is going to be what you're going to be doing here soon. You know what I mean? So it was like, looking back, it's like it's all aligned. Sure. You feel me? And then I'll go even to a deeper story. So my great aunt, she had passed away when I was younger, but she's the one who named me Michael Blaise. And so one of the things my mom told me when I was older, she was like, hey, yo, you know what's crazy? Your aunt told me, like, you need to name him Michael Blaise because I can see this on a jersey or a shirt. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, that's crazy.
That is.
You feel me?
Ironic.
Because people wearing the shirt, it's like, it's just like, it's divine. You feel me?
Sure. Absolutely. Love it. Man. So for those listeners and viewers there, it's at Blaise Training would be the IG, and then btneversettle.com would be the website to where you'd see all the different merchandise and different things like that. But, shifting gears to the evolution of the business and potentially, even challenges that you face, maybe even current, maybe even the past, but talk about specifically some of the biggest challenges that you face. Now, I've seen you a lot at local events and different things like that, but I know sometimes that doesn't come without some obstacles in your way. Facts. So what are some of the challenges that you faced in your early part and maybe some challenges that you still face today?
Some of the challenges I faced in the early part was just getting into events. You feel me? And so when I was starting off, I didn't really know about how to properly set up like a booth. I'm still just learning that now. Actually, I didn't know how to properly set up a booth. I didn't know how to like cold approach people, tell them about what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I didn't have no table. I didn't have no mannequins. I didn't really have no racks, none of that type of stuff. Okay. And so when I was trying to get into events, looking back, I was mad. I was like, bro, why ain't y'all let me in, man? I got the dopest stuff out here, which is probably true, but I had to make the presentation right. You know what I'm saying? Yes. My presentation wasn't right. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not going to let that stop me. And so I went out on the street corners 11 at night, 12 at night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I'll go out and bring my box of shirts and just start selling shirts to people that was drunk downtown. And looking back, I used to be like when I first did it, I literally was like trembling like in my chest, like, bro, you about to look so stupid, bro. Don't go out there. you tripping. Like, that's what I'm going through in my head. Sure. But I'm like, no, I got to do this. Because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So then I just got out. I grabbed my box. I was nervous. Grabbed my shirt. I just started getting to it. And then I think I made like $300-400 that in like 2 hours. And I was like, dog, I'm about to be rich, bro. I got to keep doing this. Sure. You know, so it empowered me. And so those were some of my first challenges, but I didn't realize really the challenge at the time was just always me. You feel what I'm saying? Sure. But I just had to develop into the better version of myself.
Absolutely.
And then as I gained that experience moving forward, now I know so much, and I use those things to understand how the flow of a booth should go, how to always, you know, talk to the person at your booth, engage them, tell them about what you're doing. Because even if they don't buy nothing in, I have people that walk past my booth, like literally at the farmer's market for 1.5 years, 2 years, come and like, I finally going to get something.
Sure.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's the same approach I take with social media as well. Because I know there's a lot of people, and that leads into my next challenges. I know for sure there's a lot of people that see my stuff out here that act like my stuff don't exist. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, if you into the gym, if you into fitness, y'all doing all these fitness events, why isn't Blaise Training Never Settle somewhere involved? You feel me? Because I see y'all taking some of the marketing strategies. I see y'all taking some of the things I do. Why don't y'all try to embrace the fitness brand that's coming up in Des Moines? You feel me? Because I know y'all see my shirts. Because some of the people that are doing these things, they always come up to me like, I see your stuff everywhere, man. I see it everywhere. Well, then include it in everywhere in what you're doing as well, especially when it comes to the fitness aspect. Because I'm not asking for no favors. I'm asking what needs to be done, because this is going to empower people. It changes lives. You feel me?
Absolutely.
I literally have people come up to me every time I'm doing a booth, send me long DMs talking about how the brand has inspired them. You feel what I'm saying? Just let alone just the message, not even just me, the message. You feel me? So I'm like, okay, if we're out here changing lives, why aren't you embracing what I'm doing? And so that puts me to believe like, okay, there must be a divide as far as there got to be something in between that's stopping you from doing that. Whether it could be negative or it could be a positive as well. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm like, there's no way that Never Settle shouldn't be involved in all these fitness things and everything that's going on. So those are some of the obstacles that I faced in the beginning, leading me to now. Because I'm like, I'm not asking for nobody for no favors, because I'm putting in the work. And this is not even just the only thing that I do. I have a full-time job, and I still get to it outside of that, pushing the brand, moving things forward, and I don't make no excuses. But I know what I have, and I know what it's worth, and I have the work ethic to back it.
Powerful response in itself. And for those listening, you heard it here as well. He's at the farmer's market. So no excuse for, hey, we don't know where Blaise Never Settle stuff is at. Yeah. It is at your local farmer's market. No, so let's just talk a little bit about something you wish you knew before you started. So something you learned along the way that you were like, darn it, I wish I would have known that before we actually started this.
No, yeah, man. Understanding like what your business is. You feel what I'm saying? And so when I say understanding what your business is, understanding of what kind of business you have. So me not understanding at first, trying to do training and doing different things like that, that's a service-based business, right? Sure. And so my margins could be a lot different from if I'm selling socks.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And so me not understanding that, I didn't understand. It's like, okay, if I want to get to my business to the highest level as fast as possible, I need to reinvest my money for my business.
Right, right.
And so I didn't really understand that at first, you know? And so there is a lot of life responsibilities and certain things that I had to learn as well, that I had to learn how to say no. Because a lot of the money I started when I was making money for my business, like 2-3 years in, and it was good money, I spent it on giving family members money, helping this person, helping that person. Now understanding is, okay, that money has to be reinvested to be the lifeline of your business to push it forward. Right. You know, so those mistakes, That's why I always tell when a younger entrepreneur coming up or whatever they telling me, asking me questions, I'm like, bro, you got to understand if you want to do not just even a clothing brand, you got to understand you got to reinvest that money back into your business.
That's right.
You know, because people in Des Moines may know what I'm doing, but I got to make sure I'm making moves to where other people know what I'm doing as well. Investing into marketing, investing in a higher quality product, and then also listening to what the customers want. Like I hadn't reinvested a lot of money recently back into the business to because a lot of women was like, "Hey, I love the shorts, but I need a sports bra for this." Like they keep saying, "I want a set, I want a set." I'm like, "All right, I got you." You know what I'm saying? So I got to make sure I listen to my customer base.
Sure.
And that's another lesson as well. You got to make sure you're listening to what the people want, not just what you want. If something's cool to me, that don't mean it's going to be cool to everybody
100%.
else. You feel me? So you got to really listen to what your customers want, and that's going to move you forward in your business.
Sure.
And then also is leaning towards what you're good at, and then like delegating to elevate.
Sure.
You know? And so it's
I like that.
You know, you got to delegate
to elevate.
to elevate. You
Like
feel
that.
me? And so it's like I had to learn is like, okay, I need to start leaning more on manufacturers. I got to start understanding these different things. Even though I do some of the manufacturing as far as printing shirts, printing hoodies and different things like that. But when it started to come to other things, I had to start delegating, elevating, leaning on manufacturers. And then also too is seeing what works as far as marketing. You know, certain things that I felt like should work didn't work. Right. So I'm like, okay, what does the people want to see and what kind of content do they want to see from me? I might not enjoy this content all the time, but it's like, what does my people want to see and how can I lean into what I'm good at? And so I was like, okay, I got to lean more into me speaking, telling the story, and then that'll help people be attached to it. Right. Because people got to understand when you're pushing a brand locally, people have to be attached to what you're doing to really feel the movement.
Sure.
What emotions does that provoke? And don't be afraid to post consistently 3, 4, 5 times a day. Because if you look at any of these, like I always use this as an example. Look at SportsCenter. They post all the time. And so say if the NBA Finals game's coming up, they're going to promote it 2 days before the game. They're going to promote it an hour before the game. The game's on. And right after the game, what are they going to talk about? The game. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's so many pieces of content that they're putting out all the time. And people don't understand is we're being marketed to and advertised overly to embrace the movement of what these players are doing, like Wemby. You know what I'm saying? It's a brand. So we got to understand that as well. Don't see social media as you posting too much. See it as you getting your brand out, messaging out there for people to really understand what you're doing.
Good. Great answer.
Some good gems.
Yeah, great answer on that. How proud does it make you when you're out in public and you see someone wearing your shirt?
Nah, man, it's a blessing. You know, it's really a blessing, and I try not to take it for granted because, you know, somebody's wearing it every day. You feel me? Like even if it's just me, and I know other people wearing it as well, but literally somebody's wearing it every day. And they wear it with pride as well. Sure. Like they feel empowered. Like when people send me pictures of their stuff, they're like, man, like I had to go hard because I had on Never Settle, or I had the Me Versus Me on. I had to go hard. I had to push, you know. And then like even like the wristbands, when they wear the wristbands, it's like, man, I had to push hard. I had to really go. I had to, you know what I mean? And that stuff, it's inspiring, and it makes me feel like a kid because I'm like, in my mind, I get so focused on like the goal. If I can't look nowhere without seeing Nike, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like literally,
right,
like you go anywhere, you can't go nowhere without seeing Nike. I'm like, I should literally be holding it down like that in Des Moines, for sure. We should be having it. Never Settle should be on everywhere, and so that's where my mind be at. But I gotta like embrace it and understand, like, you know, God has brought me this far, and that's a blessing. Sure. You know, so when I do see somebody wearing it, I always try to go tell them, like, unless they on the move or something like that. You know, they busy doing something. 90% of the time, I'm gonna yell at you and tell you like, "Hey, yo, Never Settle, woo!" Like just saying "me versus me," stuff like that. So, you know, it's a blessing, man.
There you go. We here at Iowa 411 never settle either, bro.
Yes, sir.
We never settle
yes,
either.
Sir.
So now here's going to be your opportunity to really get on the platform. So we talked about events, and you happen to run an event of your own. and it is called Never Settle Day, which is very fitting to the business, very fitting to your name and the legacy that you're building right now. I want you to speak about what it is, when it is, and how people can get involved.
So even to give a little more background on what it is. So it's like Never Settle Day now is, the most positive event of the year. That's what we labeled it as.
And the date is?
The date is August 8th.
August 8th.
Saturday.
You heard it.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so the event concept is a 5K Pilates, hip-hop dance class, and a HIIT workout. It's all throughout the same day. At different times, but throughout the same day. We got 35 vendors. We got fitness brands. We got juices. We got like nutritional food. We got vegan food. We got chiropractors, massage therapists, everything as far as health and wellness. And what my mindset was, I wanted to be a representation of motivation and inspiration for the mental side, but then also the physical side. And that's why I'm like, we're bringing in everybody as far as the aspect of fitness into one day. Because the same people that run 5Ks might not be the same people that do the dance class.
Sure.
But that's a form of fitness as well. And you don't have to run the 5K, but you can walk it as well. So it's like there's so many different forms of fitness that people don't really understand, or not embrace as well. But I'm bringing everybody under the same, area, not roof, but the same area at Waterworks Park.
Sure.
And so to give you a little more of a background to how it originally started. So when like 2020, 2021, I was like, man, I need to do a fitness event. So that was like my first time actually doing Never Settle Day. And so I had put all this work in, put all this time, pushing out flyers, doing posts, boom, boom. Then I ended up getting COVID. And so I was literally so sick. I was like, bro, I can't do this event.
Right.
So I had to push it back, moved it back. And then I moved it back to, it was going to be on August 8th because 8-8, infinity sign, abundance, moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the concept, And so I had to move it back to like the 21st. Not a lot of people showed up. And I was devastated, bro. I was devastated.
I bet.
Yeah. But at the time, I'm like, now looking back, I'm like, man, the whole day was a blessing. So going into that, the day I was kind of discouraged, whatever. Went out with a couple of my friends, was hanging out, chilling. So I was going to drive back home. I was like, man, I'm going to just chill here. Like, no, I'm going to drive back home. So I drove back home, got off on 19th in MLK, and I seen a man about to jump off the bridge. And I was like, oh, dang. Like, he was chilling on the bridge about to jump off. So I got out my car, pulled over. Somebody else I knew, got out, talked to him. We just was all talking to him. The cops came, everything like that. Thankfully, he didn't end up jumping. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like, in my mind, I had the worst day ever. I'm like, homie finna jump off the bridge. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what showed me too. Is like, I say all that to say is sometimes when I'm like, damn, this brand, I'm not even gonna do this no more. I'm like, man, I want to give up, or I'm about to chill. Like, I swear to you, God always gives me a reminder, like, yo, this ain't really about you. This is about the people that's affected. And that was kind of like the mindset of like having to be like mental health, motivational, and understanding is like, hey, yo, this ain't really about you. And that's why I'm like, it's kind of like the whole premise of why Never Settle Day is what it is.
Okay, sounds good. And then what is the time on Never Settle Day?
Yeah, so 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay, yep. And you heard that it's at Waterworks Park on August 8th. And what is there a cost to be a part of it? How does that work?
So if you want to be a part of any of the fitness events, there's a cost to it, but it's only $30. You come, you pay $30, you get a shirt, or you get a shirt, or you get your running tag if you're part of the actual running event.
Sure.
But you just go to the check-in table, and then you go to your actual fitness event. But if you want to bring your family, just hang out. We got face paint for the kids. Gonna have some. I'm working on having some bouncy houses there as well. So it's like, it's a family affair, and that's really what Never Settle Day is. It's like so many different shades and ages of people. It's just a blessing to see it.
Sure.
You feel me?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
This episode of Iowa 411 is proudly sponsored by Soul Shots Photo Booth, providing premium photo booth experiences for weddings, corporate events, and private celebrations throughout the Des Moines area. Enhance your next event with customized photo experiences at soulshots.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've talked about all of that stuff, I do want to just ask some fun questions, if you don't mind, because we got about 12 minutes to go, and then I got a kind of like the wrap-up question for you as well. So number one is, what's actually in your gym bag right now?
My gym bag? I low-key don't. I guess technically in my gym bag, I got a camera, and then I bring my tripod, and then my headphones.
Okay.
That'll be good.
Okay.
I'll be vlogging and doing my workouts at the gym sometime.
Okay.
And so that, I guess I don't got no gym bag. I need to work on the gym bag.
There you go.
Soon.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like what it is.
Okay. One piece of gear you wish you invented that you produce today, but you wish you were the person that invented it.
Dang, bro, you got me with that. I wish I did some gear.
Like any piece of gear.
Any piece of gear. Man, I wish. I mean, I guess I didn't invent like doing like, so in some of my products I have like an NFC tag.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tap it and the website pops up.
Oh, gotcha.
Like that.
Gotcha.
I didn't necessarily invent that, but I'm like, I've been taking it to a whole different level.
There you go.
For like some of my shirts, even like the women's wear, the new women's wear I'm coming out with, going to have it to where, you know, because they love the leggings, they love the shorts, like they top tier, like
Sure.
Lululemon top tier, like no cap, like for real.
You hear that, ladies?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
go.
the next level. I wouldn't lie to you.
Okay.
And so for those ones, you're gonna be able to tap it and the website pops up. I do wish I was the first one to do it, but it's like, you know, it's all good.
There you go. There you go. Okay, now these are going to be one-word questions.
Yes, sir.
Leggings or shorts?
Shorts.
Cotton or synthetic?
Dang, I don't know, man. I'll be going back and forth. Can I do a double blend right down the
Double
middle?
blend. There it is. There it is. Loud colors or black?
Man, it depends on my mood, but usually I'll go with black.
Black. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ideal celebrity to model your brand?
Ideal celebrity to model it? I mean, we did have Coi Leray, the rapper. She had the shorts on.
Nice.
That
Okay.
was dope.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna go,
But if you
like,
could
if I
choose one person, and
choose
and
one.
and any person you ask will say yes.
Man, I love to see LeBron wearing one of the shirts. That'll be like the dopest thing. But there's another person named Mike Rashid. I really want to get him some merch too.
Okay.
I love Mike Rashid and this other dude named 19 Keys. I just love they way of thinking, and they're physically strong, but then they mentally strong as well. Like their intellect is powerful, you know. And I feel like those are some of the people that's like make you understand, like, okay, I'll be able to defend myself and be okay, but then also my biggest weapon is my mind.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So I feel like 19 Keys and Mike Rashid.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now we're going to talk
We gotta
about.
tag them too. We got to tag them on that.
There you go. There you go. All right. So now we're going to talk some local stuff. So number one, coffee, tea, or cocktails. What are your preference?
I mean, it depends on what time in my life. It goes between tea and cocktails. So I like martinis.
Okay. There you go. Favorite local spot for coffee?
I go to Mars.
Okay. And while you're saying that, I want to give a shout out to, is it PL Canelo?
Yeah.
That was at DSM Flea a few weeks ago.
Be at Never Settle Day too.
They will be there as well too. You got to check them out if you do make it to Never Settle Day.
Oh so
their
good.
coffee is very, very good, and from what I understand, that comes right out of her home. So, shout out to them, definitely. Most surprising or fun fact about you that someone that would know you would have no idea about.
I was prom king.
Okay. As a senior in high school?
Yeah, senior high school.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Hey, you know what? That's one of those things that, I mean, I have those things as well too. They're like, oh, really? You were? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, outstanding. Okay, now let's talk about the listeners and how can listeners best support you? And those who are viewing today, and obviously those who are just listening. Yeah, we talk about, you know, your IG tag and we talk about the website, but are there other ways that customers or listeners can support you?
Yeah, man. I think word of mouth, just telling the story. That's one of the biggest things. Definitely pull up, shop with us, shop on our website, but and then also pull up to Never Settle Day. Like once you go and you feel the energy, you see everybody excited. It's just like it's amazing, man. Like it's a blessing to get all those amazing people together to do something positive. But yeah, pull up to Never Settle Day, and shop, tell somebody about it in person, and that's the biggest thing you can do because sometimes is we get so. I mean, I'm a victim of this as well. As I get so caught up on social media currency rather than the people to people currency.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? Because that's the true most valuable social currency that you'll ever have.
Right.
When you have a good experience, first thing you think about probably is the person that you want to tell first. You feel me?
Facts.
So, that could be the most valuable thing you can do, and then spend your money with it. You know what I mean?
There you go. So let's talk about events. So outside of Never Settle Day, which is upcoming, what other events outside of the farmers market can listeners and viewers see you at? Yeah. Just so you're continuing to get that exposure.
No, yeah, you brought up one. I mean, you brought up a couple. DSM Fleet, man. Shout out to them, man. And I watched the episode too. It's fire.
Good, thank you.
Man, they do an amazing job with their events. I usually do Val Air every month, so I'm doing that. Des Moines Downtown Farmers Market. I go to Crunch Fitness on the south side to do pop-ups. I go to Crunch Fitness in Urbandale to do pop-ups. I got some at Genesis as well. So if you're in any business out there that has a gym or in the fitness realm or anything like that or doing events on any scale, I think it's just, I'd love for you to reach out so we can have a booth there because, we got great quality products, and that comes, honestly, it's the last thing that's on the list that's the best about Never Settle, but it changes lives and it's motivational for people. So, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. I mean, the story again, I mean, just hearing it again, inspires me even more than when we sat down before and I had learned more about you. And, while I had seen you in a lot of, different places, events and things like that, to actually hear the story really cements everything there as well, too. So I really appreciate that. And so as we wrap up, one of the best questions that I like to ask is, what is the best advice you can give to an aspiring entrepreneur? So let's start there, but then I have one other question for you. And let me just kind of tee it up a little bit. You had mentioned that you had created some ebooks as well. So can you blend that into your answer here in the best advice you can give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
Yeah, the best advice I can give you is, man, don't take money too early. And really know exactly what you want to do with the money and the funding that you get. Really set yourself up to be in a good position to where you're not paying off a bunch of debt, and then understanding, reinvesting into your business, and setting up your business structure properly, And so when you're setting up, whether it's S Corp, LLC, C Corp, whatever those things are, is really understanding what your business provides so you can get the best out of when you're getting write-offs and different things like that. Really set your business up properly. And then as far as moving into like merchandise game, one of the ebooks I talked about is not getting scammed on Alibaba, because that's one of the things is I get a bunch of people that ask me like, man, can you give me a supplier? Can you give me this? Can you give me that? I'm like, yo, just buy my ebook, man. And I'm like, they be like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna buy it. They never buy it. And I'm like, dog, I'm giving you so much game in there. And so one of the things I talk about is like just understanding, being very particular about what you're asking for and knowing what you want for your product. Because a lot of people be like, well, I got scammed. They didn't give me the right size. But you don't even know what you exactly want. So you got to be very specific and particular about what you want. And that helps little things like that. But just like that. And then, I talked about it earlier, just reinvesting into your business, man. And understanding is the best investment that you're ever going to get back on is investing in yourself. So as you elevate your mindset, that's as you're also going to be a better entrepreneur, but then also a better person to whatever you're doing. because even if you have a job, your social security number is a representation of your brand, which is your name, and your business going into a different entity, and they're paying you to provide a service.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, better yourself, educate yourself, be the best version of yourself, and then when you're doing that, you're automatically going to get returns on your investment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
invest in you.
Absolutely. Great advice. Great advice. And the ebook is also available on the website.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So btneversettle.com is that website. Again, this is Blaise Training, and at Blaise Training would be the IG handle. Mikal, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure to hear your story, and it's going to be even more of a pleasure to share your story with all of our viewers and all of our listeners. So, again, I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you bring to the fitness space, and you will always have a fan in Iowa 411, Soul Shots Photo Booth, Soul Nest, any of those companies. And for the listeners and the viewers, this is Claude Wilkins with Iowa 411, the place where you get the 411 on all things Iowa.